Remember that they're changing my voice. I'm sure everyone in America who has been growing female breasts against their will because of the substances in the food and the air is very relieved when they hear someone else say it. Let's look over here. The Steve Rogers transformation scene, Captain America, 102 million views on this still image on this movie clip about 3 years ago. And you see he has what looks like female's breasts. Now look over here. This is a blonde chick who has rather large breasts. And here is Steve Rogers' breasts. Why are they similar? Do you think I should not mention this while this injustice plays out? My body has changed shapes in various ways. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Everyone knew and everyone knows that before these dramatic changes took place, there was a significant gap between black people and their fighting skills and their martial prowess and their physical ability as the pinnacle of these things, and other groups, including the main oppressor groups who are the main suspects. How could these things occur while the white Jew and LGBT people are in charge and no one does anything? I've had a video channel, a YouTube channel named Covertly Drugged for quite some time. I've been talking about covert drugging since at least 2012. That's over 11 years ago. I've been talking about the adverse effects of psychiatric medications. Some of them cause you to grow breasts. But it's not just the psych meds. Even though there's a huge push to try to get people on psych meds, I don't think it's a coincidence. We see the greatest push of LGBT people in history, their strongest push. And we see the greatest push for mental health. Their arguments, as unfortunate as it is to have to say it, and they give me a hard time and usually turn it up on me when I speak about certain issues, and this is one of them. It's rather unfortunate that people are being drugged if they're not gay enough. And I'm not talking about necessarily having gay sex. I don't know to what extent people are pressured to do that, but to some degree that occurs in human trafficking and countless other very common, surprisingly common coercion-based activities. But I'm talking about mannerisms, speech, dress, look, etc. If you argue that there's a gay agenda, you are at risk of being put on psych meds. If you argue that there's a conspiracy that includes whites, Jews, and LGBT people, token minorities, what have you, they might say that you're anti-Semitic because you brought up the Jews. This is the country and the planet that we live on, where regardless of how many rich Jews there are, working various jobs, how much, the European royals look like Jews. Okay, look at this guy. Is this guy Jew or is he white? You tell me. I'd consider him a crypto Jew of sorts, a liberal Jew. And look how much he looks like Prince William. Kind of nerdy. This is Weird Al Yankovic. His name is Weird Al Yankovic. The white people themselves, whites and Jews and LGBT people themselves, put him out there and said, he's weird. But I can't point out that a public figure like young Prince William looks weird. Look at that face. Looks like he's just about to suck off a kid or something. Now, would I say these things if I was treated fairly? No. Is it fair for me to fire back? Yes. Now look at this guy. Look at this guy's face. It's a similar kind of deranged LGBT face. No offense to this guy or his wife or whoever that female is there. It says Louisiana couple on trial for horrific sex crimes against children. I assume that's the couple, but I don't want to make any assumptions, so I'm just going to say whoever that female is, whoever that guy is. Okay? But assuming that those are the people, which is logically what it is, maybe it's the victim's family, but logically that's who it is. Look at his face. He looks like your typical child molester. Now, why does Prince William look similarly? Here's another guy. Tim Curry. We're in this one movie, he goes, Wilderness Girls, and he's making a weird face. Look at this female, how she resembles Luann. And she's like disassociated like the character, and she's making a weird face. And this guy, he's talking about sorority worst hazing, part 3, and he's making a weird face with this pink shirt on and a strange kind of gayish tattoo on his chest. Look at this statue of the deity El, the Canaanite deity El that some people say Jews worship. The father of Baal, aka Zeus. Baal, the enemy of the God in the Bible, who Satanists interpret as Yahweh, who is a form of the devil, because Yahweh is a witchcraft deity. Now me, again, it's semantics. In popular culture, if you say Yahweh, you could be referring to God. While a bunch of people are snickering and smirking, not necessarily them, and they go, hey, 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 he's talking about the devil. It's like the word God is dog spelled backwards, and God is G, Gaia, G-I-A, G, the earth deity, Satan, the God of the world. Okay, odd, G-odd. It's like Jesus. Scrambled is Jew, sees, Juju, witchcraft, Jupiter and Juno, Zeus and Hera. Juju. Hera, a deity of the Capitoline Mint, money the root of all evil. Zeus, Jupiter, a form of Baal, Set, the principles of evil, chaos, confusion, envy, jealousy, and all that is wrong. As they change my voice with their sick Western sense of humor, why children are being defiled and tortured. And if you think that's the only couple doing it, you've lost your mind. Think there's only Catholics do it, you lost your mind. And you see gender neutral concentration. It's a movie. Okay. Then why the fuck are you persecuting me if it's just a movie? No big deal. No big deal. Fuck you persecuting me for? 8 years ago, what would you do if they sabotage you instead of facing you? If you look it up yourself on my Meklo channel, Top Martial Arts Challenge, it is all to prove I am Christ. Offer 60,000, 10 million if compensated to a sparring challenge. Spar. And they've been losing the mental sparring big time. I have 22 witnesses to them sabotaging me on record. I said it in 2013. I said I'm the top martial artist and I'm being persecuted for my political views. Again, I tell you, if it is no big deal, then why the hell are you people persecuting me and trying to get everyone to look weird so you can put on a suit and try to look professional and act like you're superior like a fucking Nazi? Like a member of the Klan in a high position in society. Like George Bush and Donald Trump or some narcissist like that. If it is no big deal, how come you don't have a stronger stance against rape and child trafficking? How come you talk about child trafficking like you talk about every other element of your propaganda system instead of taking a serious stance in reality against rape and sex trafficking? How come this lady looks so sad and was presented as homeless, and I believe that she, at least at the time, was homeless? Certainly, she resembles those who are that I see all the time. Because people won't pull together for my war on poverty plan, you have to excuse me if I don't just drop it when I don't get 1 million views the first video and I keep insisting on it years later. You'll have to excuse me. 60 billion a year. On the 10th month of this year, I believe it's been 2 months since I first started talking about it, somewhere around that. Excuse me, 2 months, 2 years. Excuse me, 2 years. We could have raised 120 billion plus by now. And if it went to all the homes, we could have built 4 million homes with an over 3.3 million surplus in tiny homes. It would have gone to, if we housed the poor people struggling to pay their rent. People on the verge of homelessness. We could charge $100, $200 a month for rent. $300. Saving people thousands of dollars. That would have helped them buy nutritious food for their children. It would help them get on their feet and combat mental illness, as a key part of poor mental health is stress, background stressors. You'll have to excuse me if I don't kiss up to the rich while children are starving to death all over the world. You'll have to excuse me if I care about women more than everyone else because of my focused moral intensity argument and putting my life where my mouth is. You'll have to excuse me if I say that when you say it doesn't work like that, that's not good enough. Nazi Germany didn't work like that. Communist Russia didn't work like that. Communist North Korea didn't work like that. This is supposed to be the United States of America, when somebody can wipe out homelessness for close to nothing, we're supposed to do that because that ensures freedom. Financial freedom, financial justice brings freedom. Moral precision brings mental clarity, which brings freedom. How long must little kids get raped and tortured before we take a stronger stance? How long must women get coerced until we take a stronger stance? How long should people worry? How long will people worry about petty issues? Relatively petty issues. While serious issues are devouring human lives and worse, their very souls.